A of the NLSAT is actually the area which is a game changer because the kind of score that you get here eventually decides your admission. I have been preparing students for this examination since a very long time, and I have seen that how much importance Part A has been holding in the past few years since the time it has been included in the merit. Now, many of you would feel that, one fifth of the students are selected. So, if 600 students are sitting, 100 people are there who will move forward, whose part B will get checked. So, here importance has to be given to part A and it is counted in the actual merit. Today, we are going to break down that how to solve this part A in the best possible manner, how to prepare for this part in the best possible manner. Let's start with this video. Hi, guys, I'm Ayushi, your mentor for law-based examinations, and welcome to Law Digest. So basically, firstly, you have to be clear about this, that what NLSAT is really testing you in part A, because many students whomsoever I speak to, every time every student has a different opinion about the syllabus. So firstly, be clear on this, that NLSAT is not testing you on static GK or history, geography, science, as you must be doing for CUET, PG, MHCET sort of examinations. That is not tested here. They don't test you on legal provisions, your knowledge of Section 2 of the Contract Act, or Section 100 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita. Those things are not asked. What is asked is something different. We'll just get to that. Then your opinions and personal views are not taken under Part A. In part B, your reasoning and analytical thinking and your way of argument is checked, but not in part A. Part A is purely passage based, so do not make the mistake of answering the passage based questions based on your personal opinion. And also remember, there are no speed tricks. The maths and reasoning tricks that you must be studying for other exams, those are not checked here. What is basically checked is your ability to identify what is the author arguing. So I'm giving you the kind of questions that they come, that what is the central argument of the author, what is the main idea behind the passage, then what is the author criticizing versus what the author is supporting. So you have to figure this out. If you will see, there are questions that ask you that which of the following is the author most likely to agree with. So you have to identify what is the author supporting or criticizing. Then ability to separate facts, inference, and evaluation. So all these things, you have to learn these things, that you are able to separate facts from inference. I had earlier also told in a separate video that what has been said is not necessarily inference. Inference is something that is underlying the statement that has been made. So you have to go through those things and you have to logically analyze the situations given in the passage and come to a reasonable inference that will be checked here. So logical consistency which is there in the passage is checked here, which also requires you to be fluent in English, in the sense that you must be able to understand what the author is saying. The English that is appearing in the passage, the English that the author has used, should not appear to you as Greek and Latin. So it might not be very simple English, but it is something that is filled with implications. You should be able to think logically to come out with the inferences that are underlying these questions. Now you also have to have, now basically we are seeing here that how do you have to prepare for such questions. So once you are reading a passage, you have to make this habit that you are reading from the uh, viewpoint. You are reading from such a lens where you are developing a viewpoint, or you are inferencing what is the viewpoint of the author, and it is not basically just the information that you are reading. So whatever you may be reading, you must be reading, maybe there's a passage, say, on it's talking about the uniform civil code. Now you don't have to know from your past, you don't need to study about article 44, what does it say, or what is UCC, but you need to understand when there is a passage that is given, that what view does the author hold on UCC, what does he agree with, what does he disagree with. So you must start asking yourself whenever you are reading any particular article or an editorial or a passage question, then see who is the author disagreeing with, what is the primary criticism, what are the real issues that the author is seeing. You have to be able to identify these. So in the actual examination, such kinds of questions will be asked, but at the same time, what I mean to say is that when you are doing your reading practice by your own self, this is what you have to focus on when you are preparing for your questions. Then, how to analyze passages. So when you are reading the passages, you have to map the issues. So how will you map the issues? Mentally, when you've read a passage or you're reading it, mentally just make a note of this thing, or maybe on a separate, piece of paper. Only write only in keywords, because the time is always less in the exams. So on a rough piece of paper, just write 4 points: that what is the author criticizing, what is the author supporting, what is the author implying, and what is the author concluding. When you are clear on these four aspects of your passage, what will happen is that whatsoever the question may ask you, you will be clear in your head that this is the viewpoint the author holds. So the viewpoint of the author is utmost important in this examination, which should be clear to you through practice. Every day when you're reading, you have to read from this point of view, and when you're practicing passages, you have to make a mental noting, and you have to map the issues in your head. Then elimination again is an important part, because what happens in NLSAT is the questions are very close, the options are very close. So we tend to get confused that which of the following would be the most accurate option to choose. So there you don't have to go by your gut feeling. This is not an examination that is based on your gut feeling. You have to rely on the anchors that have been given to you in the text. Generally, all your answers and all these inferences are there itself in the passage. You just have to figure out, you just have to infer those words. So they are always text justified. In the text it will be already given to you. So, and you also have to see this, that there will be options which will be partially true. They might appear to be the correct ones, but remember that they are somewhere misaligned. So some statement might be changed regarding that particular passage, regarding that particular question, the topic. So in the end, you should be able to say that this option A is correct, because the author is either explicitly, so the author has directly said this particular statement, or the author is implying this particular statement. You should be able to identify that elimination, right? Then also use logic and not facts in solving these questions. Now you would see that there are strengthen and weaken based questions, that they ask you that which of the following would strengthen the argument of the author, that. Now these questions are all logic based, so these are not fact based questions. For that, what you have to do is you have to identify what the author is claiming. So when you were doing this mental mapping of the issues, you should be able to correlate to that particular note that you made, that what was the author actually claiming and what kind of evidence would logically support it. You should be able to think about it. So what we are going to do is that I'm just telling you the strategy on how to go about part A questions. I will, in a separate video, or maybe we'll have a live session over it, wherein I will take up a question on part A, and we will apply these rules and solve the passage together, so that things become easier for you and you can see the practical application of it. In any case, till the time that video comes, make sure you are following this process what we are discussing. So here the evidence would be given. So there will be options giving you certain statements. Using those statements logically, you have to infer which of the following would support the claim of the author. These are not based on your prior knowledge. Remember this, that any knowledge of law that you must have gathered for other examinations will not be used here in answering questions. The maximum extent to which they can be used is so that in part B, if there are questions, there are situations given to you, they don't seem like Greek and Latin to you, because you have studied those concepts behind the situations, and you are clear कि अच्छा इस तरह से we can have a question around this particular area. Then what will be your daily routine in the next few months? How should you be going about part A? Every day for 30 to 40 minutes, you will be doing part A practice, wherein you will read one editorial, and I would say rather than or a passage, do one passage also. Now, while doing this, identify the main claim of the author. The practice that we were, the mind mapping again is involved here as well, that you have to identify the claim, identify the criticism the author is making, and identify one implication. So apart from the questions that you will be practicing based on the passage, if you are reading an editorial, this is what you have to do, and you have to write it separately, so that you also have an understanding that I am able to figure out from the passage that okay, these are the points. Then if you are practicing a passage which you have to do every day, solve 5 6 MCQs. So current affairs MCQs can be done separately also, because in any case they're not generally related to the passage. The facts uh, don't have a bearing on those questions, because those are the questions where you need to have prior knowledge. So current affairs you can keep doing separately every day. Apart from that, this is what you have to do. So you should be able to justify in your head while solving those MCQs that why this particular option is correct or why this is wrong. So when you will get into this habit of reading an editorial and figuring out these things every day, the claim, the criticism, and an implication, you will start thinking on those lines, and you will be able to interpret and read passages better. So until we come out with the next video, you have to get into this daily routine, do the things that we mentioned, most importantly the issue mapping, and as I had discussed, this is something that you have to do every day, and this is something you should develop the habit of. Just inculcate this habit of mapping the issue when you are reading a passage, and read it from a viewpoint and not like a piece of information. With this, I'm sure your preparation will get better, your accuracy will get better, and eventually you will be able to perform well. Very soon the mocks are coming out on our website www.lawdigest.in, so keep checking our website and also the channel for more updates as and when they come for this examination. Also make sure you are following us on Instagram as well, wherein we give you daily legal updates. In any case, any queries are there regarding the NLSAT examination, you can reach out to me. I'm available on different social media platforms. Links of the same are given in the description of this video.